Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Hear Our Voices. So today we have a special guest, Miss Williams. She's a principal at a school in New York City. Just to do some housekeeping, guys, follow us on Twitter. The information will be down below. Also follow us on Instagram. We don't have that much followers there yet, so I can't wait to see you over there. And if you have any questions, you can DM us anytime. I'm always on my phone, so I'll be able to get back to any questions or concerns that you might have. But yes, Mr. Williams, can you tell us a little bit about what the job that you do in New York City?
Hello. I am currently a principal at an elementary school in Flatbush, Brooklyn, and my school is lovingly known as Shine 399.
Oh, that's cute.
Yes, it was a strategic, marketing measure that I took on for the school.
So what do you do in per se for the community of your students and how you are able to uplift them in a way?
Well, when I think about being a principal and the importance of my job, it goes beyond making sure children pass a test. Obviously, it's a school. We want children learning at the highest levels possible, and we want them to be able to demonstrate that learning, right? But
Right.
it's so much more that goes into making sure that we are educating the whole child. And if we want to educate the whole child, then we need to make sure that we are taking care of the child. And in order for us to make sure that we are adequately servicing our children, we have to also service our families. So, as a new principal in the school, a few years ago, data for me is not just when children take a test. So, I
Right.
also looked at the demographic data. I had conversations with my everybody in my school community, the teachers, the para, the neighbors, um, my families, the children. I spoke with everyone because that's also data. And based on the needs assessment of my school community, I embarked on forging, different relationships with community organizations to help me adequately support my children and families, because there were things that, and honestly, in my opinion, there were it's about humanity for me.
Right.
And so if I have families, for example, we're about to do a coat drive in a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah.
Contractually speaking, do I have to do those things? No. But from a humanity perspective, should I do those things? Absolutely. Because if this is what the data is suggesting that I need to do to make sure my children feel safe, right? To make sure my children feel a sense of belonging, then those are the different things that I have to do to make sure that my children are taken care of. Because I also see that as an added value or added measure to making sure that my children do well academically, right? We have to make sure that we're also addressing these other areas for our children and families if we want children, to achieve at the highest levels possible academically.
Right. That's definitely true. But what I understand also, your school's like a feeder school
Mm-hmm.
for I want to say homeless families, I would believe, from what I was told.
Yeah, students in temporary housing, STH families, families who are going through a transitional time, in their lives right now. So again, that's also data. So what is it that, we can do as a school community to support our population? So we do have approximately 30% of our families actually reside in STH residencies. But then there's also families who are doubled up. There are families who need, again, additional supportive services. And so what actually happened for me as a principal is there are official schools within the Department of Education who are community schools, which means they basically receive wraparound services. But based on the needs of my school community, I kind of made it an unofficial community school, because I have so many different partnerships based on the needs of my community to make sure that I'm able to offer wraparound services. So, like, for example, I had a father who came up to the school last week, and he has some concerns. He was in distress, but my first step is always to listen. Like, let
Right.
me hear you out, right? And listening to his concerns for his child also led to him sharing some things about him, because again, we're human beings. Like, we can't take the humanity out of this work. And
Right.
so listening to the father, what came out was that, he was recently released from prison, and, he was having some difficulties with securing job employment. And
Wow.
so right away, what I did was I said, okay, let me reach out to some connections that I have so that I can, be of some assistance to, my father. Again, contractually speaking, I could just say, well, that's not my problem, right? But I
Right.
really and truly believe that if we want stronger schools, then we have to make sure we have stronger families, stronger communities. Like, that's the whole village aspect of raising children. So, yes, I'm a principal. Yes, I make sure that my children are learning, but I'm also a social justice person. And so I believe that if we're trying to, if the focus is on stronger communities, that's going to naturally lend itself to stronger families as well as stronger schools. So my whole premise is, let's make sure that our children know they are loved. Let's make sure that our children are learning because it is a school, but then also make sure that our children and families are able to be leaders. So, we talk about the things again. What are the concerns? What are the different ways that we could support our families, and and also working with our children with the whole aspect of leadership development, because whatever it is we feel that we want to change within our school or change within our community, let's work on that together. Like, let's embark on that together. And I believe that's how you get to the stronger communities. But it's all connected. It's all connected to me, right? So we're not going to sit here and play like the victim role and, oh, woe is me per se, but we are going to be honest about our current set of circumstances, but then just proceed accordingly to make sure that we're able to provide the necessary supports, but then most importantly, try to establish some things at the school level, in the community, to make sure that we are making things better for our families, for their current situation, and for our children, for their future.
I like that. I definitely do, because people just in schools, they just worry about the kid, but the kid is attached to something else. It's basically a circle of life, like the Lion King
Mm-hmm.
is
Mm-hmm.
connected. Yes, you might deal with the kid, but at parent teacher conference, you deal with the adult. If the adult can't
Mm-hmm.
even get a job or have food at home or have clothes to put on their back or the kid's back, it can be a whole effect. If the kid doesn't have good clothes on or smell good or have hair good, that might affect their self-esteem. And even though they're supposed to be in school learning, that's still one thing they have to have on added stress on them, right? And kids might
Mm-hmm.
teach them because of these things. But if you could help out the kid and the family and the home life, because it might not be only one kid they have multiple kids and mom and dad at home and maybe a cousin or aunt. You never know how people's situations are really, going on. So if
Mm-hmm.
you help out one person, you have to help out the whole chain. And I think that's a very good kind of mindset to have, especially for a principal, not just thinking about the people they have, but the whole kind of tree of life in the school of other people surrounding it. And when you have a better like family system, it can help out the school more. parents might want to volunteer more at the school. They might have more time to do this and that because they're not stressed about certain programs, certain things in their house. But with Corona, they might not be able to come into school because I know some buildings are not allowing parents to do it, but they can still find other things and other activities that can help out with the school. Probably a can drive. They get a job, can afford to give can drive food or certain things for other people who might need help. So I think that's really cool that you definitely help out the families in that way. It's an awesome idea. And you said you started working there a couple of years ago?
At this particular school, yes. So I assumed principalship in 2018, but I've been with the Department of Education for 24 years now. And I actually started as a paraprofessional. So, I was a para teacher. I was a literacy coach supporting teachers. Then I became an assistant principal. Then I left the school and focused on special education. I became a SPED administrator. And then I was a principal coach, coaching principals, 32 principals in District 17. And now, I'm the principal of the internationally known Shine 399.
It's a cute little name. Like, it really is cute. Oh my gosh. That school must have a lot of school spirit. That's what it sounds like. It's really sound like a cool school to go to. Oh my gosh. You did really a lot of stuff in the field. And I see that you're building up. And that's pretty cool. You get to learn from different angles because you might say, oh my gosh, when you're a teacher, this principal's not doing their job. But when you get to be a principal or assistant, you're like, Dad, this person might have a lot more work than I expect them to have. Like, when you're in a different position, and you see different things more better when you kind of, in every different aspect. That's pretty cool, really. I wouldn't think this would happen at your school, but like, because a lot of people in your school is like, probably doubling up or things like that. Do you have special programs? And do you think kids know that they're in these special programs that they have for people who are either homeless or doubled up in their housing? Does that make any sense?
You mean like different things we do in the school?
Yes.
Per se. So the way the schools are funded, you get funding for certain population or certain subgroups, of students. The children don't know that per se. But when we talk about diversity and equity, that's really and truly just knowing your children, knowing the students well, and making sure that we're affirming them, making sure that they know they matter, like their culture, their stories, like all of that is relevant. And so to your point, for me as an educator, but not even an educator, just as a mother and a human being, I don't care about their status. I don't care about their classification. So when children walk in my building, they are everything to us, and I purposely do that in such a way, because again, if we want children to do well on these tests and we want them to do well academically, it's not cliche. It's really not cliche, when we say that children have to feel good about themselves. That is absolutely key. That is the first step. So children don't feel good about who they are, then they're not going to be able to do their very best. And we do know that within our society, there are negative connotations that comes with certain labels. And so I'm very well of that, very aware of that. And I do my best to make sure that our children know that they matter. Our children know that they're loved. Our children know that they have, that their voices matter. So with student government and just the student-led initiatives that we have, my children don't feel isolated and separated because I purposely, make sure it's done that way. So when I do different things at the school, like we do weekly food drives, that's to everyone.
Wow, that's good.
Like the coat drive, that's for everyone, and we're celebrating children that day as well. So we partner with NYPD. They're gonna have the game truck. I'm finalizing like any food distribution for the holidays that we'll be able to provide November 20th as well. But when I do those things, it's really engagement purposes for the entire school community. And remember, like there really is something about service, like and who said it? Did Gandhi say it? I forgot who said it, but there's a quote where or maybe Martin Luther King said it, but everyone can serve. Everyone can serve, regardless of your current set of circumstances. And when you serve, it really and truly does something to you. And there's been psychological studies about that, right? Like it really does something to you mentally and socially, emotionally when you do serve. So I've created a school community where that's a part of what we do. Like there was a hurricane a few months ago.
Ida?
Yeah, I think in one of the islands was hit really bad. And so our school participated in donating, goods and just different things that we could send to the island. Because everybody could bring in a canned good, or you know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter like what your set of circumstances are, like we can still support other people. And even having that mentality, again, I feel has helped my school tremendously in building like that culture and building that community. And again, it goes back to helping children and families, just feel good about themselves, feel good about their school community. And when people are in their best mental state possible, that's when they can give you the best that they have to offer.
That's definitely true. So in your opinion, if like a principal's just starting out or a principal's already in there and they want to implement these things into their school, what do you think they should do as their first step? Because like to do all parts at one time, it probably not going to work. You want to start at one thing and kind of build up on the services you might want to give to your school. What would be the first step you think to take to get like their school on the kind of the path that your school's going
on? They have the first step is just taking the time to listen to everyone, speak to all key constituents, like I said, the custodian, the crossing guard, the people that live in the neighborhood, the families, the staff. That's data. That data is just as critical as state tests. Is just as critical. And you use that data and you work in collaboration with the team, with the school team, because every school has to have a school leadership team, but you work together with the school team to develop, some long-term and short-term goals for the school community, but it's everyone working together. And then you mine for strengths, right? Because I believe that every single person possess special gifts, talents, and skills. And so I really do believe that it's a leader's responsibility to tap into that. So like, let's work from strengths, and based on that, you develop, your smaller teams and your smaller committees that's going to address all facets of running a school, right? And once you have those things in place, that's how you're able to accomplish that much more in a shorter amount of time. Because trust me, especially as a year one principal, people were very surprised, like, oh my God, like, how are you guys able to do all of that? Because all of us was working. I'm a sports girl, right? So I'm always equating things to sports. Right now it's football season. The quarterback is not everywhere. The quarterback has a specific role that he plays. So if I'm the principal and I'm the quarterback, I'm going to play my position well. But guess what? You have your offensive line, you have your offensive team, you have your defensive team, you have the different players, you have the kicker, right? Everyone has a specific role. And if everyone is operating from their best optimal place, and notice I said their best.
Yes.
Right? If everyone is working from their best optimal place, then any organization, not even a school, any organization is able to achieve greatness, right? And able to make progress. Now, it's the leader's job, when you're mining for strengths, you have to accept that people are where they are within their own level of proximal development, But the chief function of a leader's job is to develop others. That's
That's
the chief
definitely
function
true.
of a leader's job. So once you take an honest assessment of where people are, and you do that in conjunction with the individual, you create an action plan for them as well, and you support them with their growth and development. So then everybody is growing and developing and working towards achieving the school's goals or any organizational goals. And that's how teams win.
That's definitely true.
And
Do you
so
have
based on the work that we did together collectively as a team, year one, I was awarded Principal of the Year. But when I
that's
went to
nice.
work, I didn't go to work for that. Like, I went to work because I wanted to support my school community. But based on the things that we were able to achieve as a new team, that was the final result. And that came from the team working together. And that was year one.
Congrats.
Thank you.
So, do you have any last words for anybody out there who's listening, who might probably working in the DOE, or just a teacher, or something that you see at your school's probably lacking? Any words for them?
I would just wrap it up by saying, be honest with yourself about where you are within your own perspective growth. Focus on your passion. I believe that your passion leads to your purpose. And once you have those things together, just set out to create your own, set some goals for yourself, short and long-term goals, and develop your action plan, and just go to work. But celebrate your success along the way, because success is a journey. So, sometimes when people look at my school, it's like, okay, you guys are not the highest performing school in the district or the borough, and I don't care, right? But I will tell you this: we are making progress every day, every month, and every year. That's what I care about.
That's amazing. That's good. So, guys, thank you again for coming to listen to Hear Our Voices. As you can see, it's just not homeless issues we talk about, but we do have people here who are not exactly in the homeless shelter atmosphere, but they do help our students, and our students are a big part of family homelessness. There's a lot of kids out there who are just honestly sometimes end up getting lost in the system. And if we have more principals like Miss Williams to help them out, have even a better day before they go back to the shelter at nighttime, it can be better for them. So, guys, if you have any thoughts, any questions, just put it in the DMs, and we could definitely see you on Twitter and Instagram at all times. Thank you for watching Hear Our Voices. See you next time. Well, technically, you'll hear me next time. Bye.